Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today I'd like to give you a more in-depth view into Iceman, a character that costs the same thing that he is colored as. That's right, he costs crystals and he's blue. No, but seriously, I'm joking because what I'm about to say kind of hurts. I think in summary, Iceman is not yet at a stage in which you should invest in him. I feel as though Iceman is better than Emma Frost when she came out before her uniform, but worse than Sabretooth when he came out just a few months ago. And I don't know where that really puts him. I think it puts him in the land of only purchase him if you really love him type of character. And that also goes for getting him to tier 2 if you already have him at 6 stars. So I've gotten him to level 70 because I still haven't gotten Jean Grey's potential, and so I decided to spend my excess feathers, and I got him within rank 500. I threw up a bunch of additional crit damage Uru to bump him up to have a bit more crit damage, and I bumped up his 4th gear to get enough skill cooldown so that he was capped. So now he's looking at basically capped ignore defense, capped cooldown, and then 43 and 155 on the crits with a very low dodge. And the low dodge is actually important. He's still got the stage 10 power of Angry Hulk, and I've still got an obelisk on him. So I am going to be switching his obelisk over to a CTP mid-video, but I wanted to take him into a little bit of content, show just a few minutes of footage so you guys can see what his damage looks like, because I'm not very impressed. But before we do that, I want to just cover the idea of PvP Iceman, because I was one of the people that thought, and I still think at the back of my mind, that he has value for PvP, but to me he feels like an unfinished character. He only really has one iframe that you can count on. The iframe on 4 is just way too short. So a character with only one iframe really can't do well in PvP unless they have, like, you know, monstrous abilities. I'm talking, you know, like debuff or buff removal like Thanos, and like a revive, or some sort of crazy triple heal or ongoing heal. Like, they have to have a wide range of other abilities if they don't have multiple iframes. If you have like 4 or 5 iframes, you can definitely tango in PvP because you can just cycle through your iframes. Bishop showed that at level 60. But yeah, with only one iframe, it really puzzles me why he was given stuff like increase all debuff effects and decrease damage received. Both of those are PvP type of stats and traits, but then he just doesn't have it with the rest of his skills. And he's got long invincibility, and he's got immunity, super armor, he's got a self buff, you know, he's got all this stuff, but then when it comes down to it, he just cannot. I'm not even gonna bother showing PvP gameplay, because I don't think it's worth it. I think even if you gave him a regen, even if you gave him a heal, his base HP is low, so he really doesn't have that going for him. He really only has the energy attack stat, that crazy. He's got 27,000 energy attack with no leadership, and his gear is still at 20. So I could go way higher than that if I was gonna bump up thermokinesis to like 25. So he could probably easily, not easily, but he could probably get close to 30,000 energy attack if you have more on your cards. And that's even before a leadership. But that's basically all he has, is a high energy attack stat. So we're going to take him into some gameplay now so you guys can see what I'm talking about. We're going to go for we're going to stage 50. Stage 50 is alright. And we're going to throw on Misty Knight because he doesn't have much cold damage. So we're going to throw Misty Knight in addition to Shuri. Not the best possible team. Of course, the best team would be both of these. But I want to show you, you know, just what an above average but not a perfect Iceman would look like. And we're going to throw on just a couple of strikers. We're not going to overdo it with the strikers, but we are going to go for some mind control because, trust me, he needs it. And then the heal because, yeah, trust me, he needs it. I'm not really sure why Iceman doesn't have a heal. He's probably going to seem weaker than Human Torch, because Human Torch has more iframes, he's got a heal, and he's got all defense down. He's got the trifecta of stats. Now, 4 cancel 5 appears to be a pretty good skill to proc on. The only kind of difficult part here is, what do you do after that? I like to just do 3 and then just stall a little bit more. The first skill is actually a really nice stall skill because of the fact that it has basically no damage, no hits up front. All of the hits on the first skill happen at the end. So as long as you can cancel that first skill before he lands the skating ability, it's actually really good. So I do like the first skill. I like the fact that he skates away, and I also like doing 3. That was 3 cancel 4, but it also didn't proc properly. You know, he does have, and you know, honestly, he has abilities or he has skill effects that I like. The damage is not bad. but it's really not that impressive for a stage 50. You know, Psylocke could do stage 50 before she got her uniform, and yeah, Psylocke costs more, but you know, pretty much everyone has Psylocke. So why would you invest in Bobby when you already have Psylocke? Honestly, Bobby does have, you know, he has a very, very long animation on his 5th skill. It's so long that you almost think that he could proc twice on. I mean, he's definitely got bursts of damage where you're like, wow, that's a lot of damage. But it's just not consistent at all because he has weird cooldowns. Like, see there, I completely missed the proc. He's got weird cooldowns on his skills. His best skills either come off cooldown too fast or they come off cooldown too slowly, 5 and 3. And because he's got no heal, it's very difficult to keep him alive. And on top of that, because of the way that his skills animate, you can't... I just got my 5th skill canceled. You can't see what's going on. He covers himself in ice, and this is actually something that I do think the developers need to consider. He covers himself with ice to the point where I can't see where Bobby is. So they should really think about how they're going to fix that, but like, I don't know what's going on. If I was getting penetrated, if there was a purple circle underneath me doing dot damage or whatever, I wouldn't be able to see it. If I were to ever use him, let's say, for example, against Proxima or against a boss like Proxima who summons those purple circles, he would be mincemeat, he would be dog food, because you can't even see what's going on. Now, right now, I'm on pace to clear the level. You have to get down to 8.5 bars by about the 2-minute 30 mark, so I'm on pace. So that's not bad. Stage 50 with an obelisk with a pretty decent team and 3 strikers. That's not bad at all. I'm not saying it's bad at all, but it just doesn't impress me enough for the cost, and it definitely doesn't impress me enough compared to Sabretooth. Sabretooth at level 60... Now keep in mind, I have a level 70 Iceman. Sabretooth at level 60 was doing stage 50 of Proxima, which is literally the same stage, 50 and 50. He was doing it with this team here, with Beast and Shuri, with a full set of strikers. So he does have a full set of strikers, whereas Iceman doesn't, but he was level 60 instead of level 70, and you know, he also has that all defense down. So he has more mechanics that make him good. And so I feel like Iceman was either half designed, which means that they're planning to give him a uniform, or the people who designed him were really at odds with how to make him, you know, a complete character, because he has flashes of PvE and then he has flashes of PvP. But that's really what you're gonna get. You're gonna get kind of a half and half character. It's kind of the Hulk syndrome. It's the Iron Man syndrome. They're not good enough for one, and they're not good enough for the other. So I'm a little bit disappointed because of that, but you can see that the damage was decent and good enough for a stage 50 Ebony Clear if that's what you need with an obelisk. I don't normally feature obelisks that often, so I wanted to do that for you guys before I get rid of this obelisk. Yes, I'm going to be getting rid of this obelisk. Now, the question for people who are serious, I'm talking to serious Iceman fans now, the serious Bobby Drake fans, CTP of Rage or CTP of Energy, because if he's a favorite character, or if he's one of your favorite characters, you're going to want to give him one of those two. I don't think PvP is the way to go. I don't think Authority or Regen is really the way to go. Personally, because he has such low dodge, he doesn't have any dodge buffs, he doesn't have dodge on any of his stats for any of his gears, I really think that a Rage CTP, although it does seem appealing because of the all defense down, it probably won't be as impactful, and you might feel like you're wasting the Rage CTP. And he does have a lot of hits when you combo 4 and 5 or 4 and 3 and 2. He racks up a lot of consecutive hits, and that does support the chain hit damage of a CTP of Energy. So I'm going to personally be equipping a CTP of Energy here. I'm going to be overwriting this guard break cold damage 180. Please don't hate me, guys, but I am going to be doing it now, and I want to see just how much better he is at that stage 50 mark. So now we've got a rank 350 Iceman. We went ahead and deleted that obelisk in favor of this one, and you know, if I was going to go full PvE for Iceman, but I didn't have a CTP, I wouldn't even have gone for the one that I had. The one that I had was kind of PvE, PvP, because it has the guard break immunity. I would have gone for either double cold damage or cold damage, crit damage, and a proc, because he does have a crit rate buff. Icicle Rain gives him 25% crit rate, just like Thor's new 4th skill, so you don't need to give him crit rate, and that's why I left it at 43%, because it's going to jump up to 75 when he buffs himself. So he's got almost capped crit damage now, he's got almost capped crit rate with the buff, and I think that is pretty good. You know what, I'm actually going to give him one more crit damage Uru. Now that I'm here, we're going to try to upgrade this to 5 stars, and we're going to get it on the first try. Nice. and then now he should be above 190%. I think this is probably the best case scenario for Iceman. We're going to roll back into that stage 50 and see how he does with the same strikers and presumably with the same rotation. But yeah, he just has a confusing skill set. Long skills, like his 5th skill is really long, and actually if you try him out in PvP, it's interesting. If his 5th skill kills the enemy, and I actually encourage someone, if you really want to try Bobby in PvP, try him with a wow, no proc at all. That's super cool. Nice. If you really want to try out Iceman in PvP, try him with a CTP of Destruction. I really think a CTP of Destruction could be good for him, and the reasoning for that is if his 5th skill kills the first character, wow, that 3rd skill damage is so much better than the 5th skill damage. My thinking is, my rationale is that if Iceman kills the first character on a team with his 5th skill, the animation for that giant continues for a really long time. It's like a 6 or 7 second animation, and so you can actually possibly kill the next character. That's kind of my hope, and that's kind of what I'm thinking is possible with Iceman. So let me know if there's anyone out there brave enough to do that and to try it out with like a level 70 Iceman. And you can definitely see that this is better, but it's still tricky, and you still have to get pretty lucky with the mind control from your strikers. And if he doesn't have that, he's going to be in a lot more trouble. He can't really protect himself that well, you know, because he doesn't have a heal and he doesn't have any of that other stuff. So we're going to have to run away here, chase these little ghosts away, because otherwise they're going to kill us. Ebony's going to be coming around here, and we're going to try to pop 5 instead, because we got all those extra guys around us. And that 4th skill damage is just ticking away pretty nice there. Let's see if we can get a kill this time around. I know I don't usually finish. There we go. That was nice. I don't usually finish my World Boss Ultimate fights, but let's try 5, cancel 3. Let's see what kind of damage. Of course, I should have realized that he was at 8.5 bars, and I wasn't going to get the damage off. We're going to have to dodge this here. Movement speed is a little bit sketchy, but the fact that his 3rd skill, which is, you know, one of his better damage skills, doesn't have an iframe also begs the question of why try to proc on it. And again, 5 as well can get interrupted because of the fact that it doesn't have an iframe. So when you have a character like that where their best skills are not iframes and they can be interrupted, it makes it much more difficult to play that character. And see, I just got interrupted again. It makes it much more difficult to play that character and to be consistent with damage if you don't have mind control. And Johnny, Human Torch, has the same problem. What, no proc, seriously? Where, you know, if he gets interrupted, that 3rd skill doesn't have an iframe, so if he gets interrupted, he loses all his damage. But if he doesn't, the damage is beautiful. So we can see Iceman, he's doing pretty well. I'm getting pretty lucky with multiple mind controls back to back to back to back. And then we got a nice little proc there on 3. But yeah, it's a bit of awkward. There's always a little bit of kiting. And you also have to pay very close attention to where Ebony is, because you can't really see what he's doing with Bobby there, kind of doing his thing. Yeah, I don't really know how. I think maybe Iceman is just a difficult character to animate and to bring to life in Marvel Future Fight. Maybe that's kind of the truth that I don't want to admit to myself. Kind of the reason why people doubt that Mystique is ever going to make, you know, make her mark in Marvel Future Fight, because how would you animate her? So we're gonna get the kill there. 1:44 left. So I think, and look at that long animation. That long animation's so cool. I think he could do probably a stage 55. Maybe if I buff up his gears, he could probably do a higher stage, maybe a 60. Maybe with max strikers as well, he could push 60, 61, 62. But that's pretty much, I think, the top end for him. The fact that he doesn't have all defense down himself, and he doesn't have any accumulation, means that you are relying on the strikers. And if I had gotten less lucky with the strikers in that match, I wouldn't have cleared it with that much time left. You know, if I had gotten much less mind control, Ebony would have continued to interrupt me mid skill, mid proc, and I would have done much less damage. So Iceman, Again, I feel like he's an unfinished character. He's definitely someone, wow, rank 279. He's definitely a character that you can build and you can get some work out of if you love him. I think he dominates in Shadowland. He does, you know, he basically slices and dices there. but I don't know how he plays in Alliance Conquest, and I'm just curious about that one timeline thing. But for now, I can't really recommend him unless you're a really big fan of the character, or unless you have crystals and you desperately need someone to kill Ebony, and you already have Psylocke, because she's, you know, cheaper. Technically more expensive, but technically cheaper, because then you can farm her bios and you get infinite source of feathers, and she'll be able to do as well as Iceman without a uniform. And then with a uniform, oh mama, she's pushing into the 70s. So tough to recommend Iceman when Psylocke is just basically a better version of him with an obvious build for PvE. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think of the in-depth review of Iceman. Hit me up, let me know what you want to see next. Subscribe if you enjoy the content and you want to support me. And of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you later today. Take care.